but in his new position, or not new position, but in his position as the religious or the national leader. I would not just say that some people said that now he's only the religious leader. He continues to be the national leader. So I hope that among you also you will have discussions about how you can help in this new situation that is in front of us, and take that as an opportunity. So I think that, so I thought I'll just make that remark, and then maybe whatever time we have, and I'm afraid maybe not much time, then I can maybe take some questions. So that way I think some of the things that you want to know, can come up for discussion.
I'm the reporter of Voice America. I'm just wondering, so after Dalai Lama had resigned from the political power, I wonder what will change in your role. Will you still be the special envoy for Dalai Lama to China, or are you going to be representing the exiled government in the future? Thank you.
Very good question. I'm in kind of limbo at the moment. I'm not a part of I have never been part of the Tibetan government for the last almost, I think now, decade and a half. I was part of that government, I was in the cabinet, I was foreign minister for quite a number of years, and then I retired, and I actually get a pension from the Tibetan government. I think I get about 1,600 Indian rupees every month, which is a great honor. So I have never been part of the Tibetan government, and I, at this age, you see, certainly have no desire to now, seek re-employment and to become part of the government. However, my position is one which is, quite, not me, but the role is very important. And with the Chinese government's very clear position of unwilling to discuss directly with the Tibetan government. They denounce His Holiness every day. At the same time, they always say that, well, we will only talk to him and his envoys. So in that kind of situation, it was decided in Dharamshala that, you see, at least for some time, and I was asked immediately the day His Holiness signed the revised charter. I happened to be in Delhi, having left Dharamshala. The President Kalanchiwa immediately, communicated to me in writing that I should continue for some time, because they do not want to lose, the connection. So I continue, and that kind of very interesting period. But I certainly feel, in fact, I told the Kalanchiwa elect that gradually, you see, it is not about Dalai Lama, it is about Tibet. So therefore, it is the responsibility of elected leaders to decide not only about who should be the negotiators, but about what policy they want to follow. But for the time being, at least, you see, because I also said in my letter, long time back, I should not be irresponsible by saying that, oh, now His Holiness has, stopped being the head of the state, so therefore I also cease to, function, because that would be irresponsible. But we're in that kind of, this is a new experiment. We're learning, we're trying to, fix things. It will take some time.
I'm Wish from Boschun and the China Free Press, Wasserman. My question is a little bit, you answered partial of the question. My exact question is, after His Holiness retires, what will happen to the many offices around the world and the name Dalai Lama office?
I think, again, as part of, and Louisa, I think pointed out, it's very important for all our Chinese friends to really intensely discuss and understand the charter, the revised charter or the amended charter. I think clearly deals with that. Because while His Holiness is adamant in making sure that he has nothing to do with the governance. He don't want it to pull strings. He don't want it to have a formal role. At the same time, there are certain things that cannot be conducted, without, let's say, help from His Holiness. So So therefore, I think the charter which has been signed, in my view, realistically deals with that. When it talks about the offices of Tibet, they will continue to be headed by people who will be designated as a representative of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So it's not just envoy. You know, the office in New York will continue to be headed by a person who will be designated as the representative of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. But I think all those answers you can find in the charter, which has been adopted. And I think there's English version, I was told, you know, also on the website. Allow me to speak this morning, and he will come talk to you in the afternoon, I think. So I think you should ask him. But as I said earlier, when I had the discussions with him soon after, you know, his election, you know, he, you know, encouraged that I continue to be in touch with my counterparts, and I am in touch with my counterparts. And you know, and I'm further told that, you know, if the Chinese government is prepared to do another round, that I should pursue that. But you should definitely ask him. Now, with regard to policy, absolutely he should answer it. Because even during the time of His Holiness heading the government, I always used to say that I don't make policies. I'm the negotiator. The negotiators never make policies. So that, again, you should ask him this afternoon. Now, the importance of, yes, us trying to really creative and reaching out to the Chinese audience is absolutely important. And I think we're making some effort. Now, I don't speak Mandarin, I don't read, you see, so therefore I'm the wrong person. I think, but my colleagues, you know, Kongala and, you know, Pema, Dashi, I think we're making a lot of effort. We also have a mental block, to be very frank. Just as I think you have a mental block. Now, I'm not talking about people in this room. When I say you, I'm talking about, you know, our Chinese brothers and sisters at large. And we also, unfortunately, had a mental block. At the beginning, I tell you, when, you know, His Holiness encouraged us to reach out to the Chinese. In those days, there was no chance for us to reach out to Chinese from mainland China. Even with Taiwan, it's a little difficult, as I mentioned. So I was one of those who tried to reach out to some Chinese, you know, obviously Chinese, from Singapore, from Malaysia. And it was seen as, you know, first of all, useless exercise. Secondly, kind of, you know, almost not proper. You know, unfortunately, we had that mental block. And I think I told my stories, you know, sometimes I had that mental block. You know, I went to school in Darjeeling, and sorry for taking this time, but sometimes it's important to tell one's experience through personal feelings. I went to school, you know, to missionary school, and I had a classmate, you know, who was Chinese, not from even mainland. So I think there have been like third generation Chinese settled in Darjeeling. But for entire duration of 2 years, I went to school where both days, you know, their school streets. We every day shared the same class, going to school, and every evening coming back. But I was very skillful to avoid ever being next to him. Honestly, yes. And then similarly, when I was growing up, I was quite active. As you know, that I was one of the founders of the Congress, supposed to be a little progressive in mind. But I had that mental block. And I went to one international conference somewhere near Bombay. And there I met, again, you know, then she was young. You see, now, of course, she must also be a middle-aged woman. In fact, you know, now I have aged. Julia Tan, you know, from Malaysia. I remember, quite tiny. And again, I had the same kind of, you know, discomfort. The fact that she is of Chinese, you know, ancestry. So it was after my first visit to China, yes, 82. I have come back and I gave a talk about my visit. And I can clearly see that it was a room about this size, about, I think, audience of, you know, this size. She was right at the back listening to me. And after spoke, she came over, this tiny little girl. And then she hugged me and she cried. And she apologized. At that time, I felt very ashamed. I felt so small. Even though I was slightly taller than her, I really felt tiny and I thought she was really giant. No fault of hers. She just happened to be then, you know, we became great friends. She's fourth generation, you know, Chinese, you know. She's now for all purposes, you know, Malaysian. But she had that courage to come over to me, hug me and apologize, and really melted. And therefore, you see, if I used to say that, you see, if ever there is some kind of breakthrough, and I'll talk with Chinese government, since I do occupy an important position, that Julian Town should get a big recognition, because it's things like this that we have to go through. You see, what I'm trying to tell you is that it's not easy. So even learning Chinese, when he only started telling Tibetans you have to learn Chinese, I tell you, first our parliament didn't agree. No, why should we learn Chinese? To learn Chinese, to speak Chinese is almost like you betray something, you're giving up something. So it's been difficult, but I think we have overcome that. I think we have overcome that very well. Now it's just we need to have a little bit of resources, little bit of, I think, creativity, but we do have, I think, quite a few websites, up and going. But we will certainly take your, view into consideration. Again, this afternoon, when you talk with Dr. Lobsang Singh, you must share that sentiment, because it is he who has the capability, after the end of August, to tell, Dharamsala administration to say that, all right, do a little bit more hard work in reaching out. It's not enough to have some conference every 6 months. But I think it's a very important idea. Thank you very much.